Welcome to The Point of View. This is your favorite current affairs show on television. Here on The Point of View, we pick the right topics, we get the right guests, and we ask them relevant questions on issues that matter to you. Tonight's a special show. We want to look at what the price of a ball of Kenkey and the size of the average ball of Kenkey say about the economy of Ghana. The Kenkey Index has been released for December 2023, and my guest tonight will delve into all of the numbers. So what is the average price of a ball of Kenkey in Accra? What is the average weight of a ball of Kenkey? How quickly is the ball increasing or shrinking? Where can you get the best value for Kenkey in this country? And where is the most expensive Kenkey? And what do all these things mean about our personal economy? We have a special show for you. Stay tuned. So welcome back. The point of view tonight is taking a closer look at the Kenkey Index. Yes, the Kenkey Index. A ball of Kenkey means different things to many people. But tonight we'll be looking at what has been happening to that ball on the basis of trends observed from as far back as August 2022. Where do you get the most expensive Kenkey? Where is the best value for money Kenkey? And of course, would ask what all of these things mean for you. So tonight my guest is the creator of the Kenkey Index, Kobina Aidoo. Kobe has been working on this for a while. Kobe is, what are you? Are you an economist or what are you? Are you a Kenkey economist? How do you describe yourself?
Yeah, I think many people can now call me a Kenkey economist.
The Kenkey economist?
But I'm a researcher and strategic communication consultant.
So why the Kenkey Index? What is it?
Well, my formal training has been a lot in economics and public policy, but I'm also a documentary filmmaker.
Okay.
And I have a personal interest in the corners of the economy, the ones that you don't normally see and hear of in the macro numbers.
Okay.
And so these things fascinate me. And I've been particularly attracted to Kenkey. And I've been curious to know what happens to Kenkey with inflation. Because, for instance, if Kenkey is selling for 1 cedi and inflation is 13%, you're not going to increase your price to 1 cedi 13 pesos because, first of all, no one will have 13 pesos on them, and it just gets messy. So I found it curious about how do these prices change? Is it shrinkflation alone, or do the prices to increase? So sometime in August 2022, actually the summer of sometime in July 2022, I started thinking, well, maybe with inflation going as high as it was a good time to track this in real time, this sort of live experiment. So we started going around Accra to buy Kenkey and
you actually buy the Kenkey?
Yeah. So we bought thousands of balls of Kenkey.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, we do.
And you label the Kenkey?
Yes.
So, like, if I look at I see like La Paz, 18th August, 4 cedis. Choco, 3 cedis. Yes. Wow. So you buy Kenkey from all these places and then you use it in your work.
Yeah. I'll tell you one of the hardest things we have to do every month is to do what to do with all that Kenkey when you're done.
But I thought you have like Kenkey eaters so that when you finish the work, they can then do a Kenkey party or something.
That's basically what we do. Yeah, we just give it away.
I want to collaborate with you on that because I like Kenkey parties.
All right.
Now just to be clear, inflation figures for December 2023, 23.2%. It came down from 26.4%. This is the 5th straight month inflation has come down. This is the lowest inflation rate in 13 months. The peak of inflation in the past year and a half was December 2022, when inflation reached 54.1%. And then it's been falling consistently. Later on, we'll compare your index to inflation. I had to explain inflation on radio last week, or the last 2 weeks, because people were saying to me, why are prices going up when the government says inflation is coming down? I'm not sure if you get that question sometimes when people say, inflation is coming down, yet prices are going up. And I had to say to them that inflation is the rate at which prices are increasing in one period compared to another. So, for example, if you say year-on-year inflation is 23.3 in December, it means that if you take December 2022, the rate at which prices are increasing in December 2023 is 22% compared to that period. So prices are still increasing,
that's correct,
but just at a lower rate. So I think the point is about the rate. Yeah. In your work, do you understand the confusion of Ghanaians about inflation?
Yeah. I understand the confusion because not everybody is an economist, nobody's trained in it, and not everybody has to know the technical details. So it's our job, I think, to explain things to people. And the way we do it with the Kenkey index, and I know a lot of people ask themselves all kinds of questions about, with all these macro numbers and the politics around it, etc., what does it mean for the price of Kenkey? This is what it means. So we take, one of the measures we use is that if we were to think of Kenkey, which is equal to the ball of a sachet water, all right?
Yeah.
If we were to take Kenkey, which is equivalent to the size of a sachet water. Actually, that's not the chart.
Yeah.
But
we'll come there.
Yeah, we'll come there. Okay.
We'll come there.
Here's how much, if you were last year, in December 2022, you were going to pay 3.69 cedis for it.
Yeah.
And then in December 2023, you are going to pay 4.56 cedis for it.
We're even ahead of ourselves. So the first question, which I think you answered nicely, was the price of or the average selling price of a ball of Kenkey. Yeah. By the way, this study, what was the period that you did the study?
So we started in August 2022.
August 2022?
Yes.
Up to December last year?
Exactly.
So we are in January?
Yes. So 2023 was the first full calendar year, but we started in August 2022.
And this chart what is this chart telling us? That in August, the average selling price of a ball of Kenkey was 2 cedis, 60 pesos, or a little below 3 cedis. Yeah. So, explain this chart.
Okay. So what this chart tells us is that, on average, we know a lot of people have different questions about how much is Kenkey selling for?
Yeah.
And the thing about Kenkey is that it's different prices in different places.
Okay.
So you may be selling at 4 cedis in your neighborhood, 2 cedis in mine.
Yeah.
But if you took the average of all the balls you collected for every period, what was the average price? And that's what it tells us. So if you look at August 2022, the average price of a ball of Kenkey was 2 cedis and 60 pesos. At that time, you still had 2 cedi Kenkey in the market. There was no 4 cedi Kenkey in the market.
But there was no 1 cedi Kenkey in the market?
No, we didn't find any at that time.
There was no 1 cedi Kenkey?
Yes. So all the way down to around May 2023, you can see the price on a steady rise, and it's sort of stabilized since then.
So we're saying that the peak for the initial was May of last year.
April.
Sorry,
May.
3 cedi, 80 pesos.
Yes, that's right.
Remained constant and then went near to 4 cedi. So Kenkey crossed the 4 cedi average before Christmas.
Yes.
And it came down a bit at Christmas.
That's right.
So, but I think that to make this easier to understand, let me move to this chart. How much Kenkey is sold at a given price? Because I think that really helps people to see what we are talking about. So basically you're saying that in August of 2022, you could only get 2 cedi and 3 cedi Kenkey.
That's correct.
Right?
So, yes.
And 44% of the Kenkey in August was 2 cedis.
Yes.
But when we come to November, then the 4 cedi Kenkey started coming into the picture.
That's correct.
4 cedi Kenkey increased with brace, and then April, 5 cedi Kenkey entered the picture.
That's correct.
This is interesting. Can you comment on this? This is quite interesting.
Yes.
Now, in 5 cedi, so this is it. So up until November, you wouldn't get Kenkey for 4 cedis.
No.
All the Kenkey was 2, 3. Then 4 cedi comes in, 4 cedi expands. Now I think 4 cedis occupies the largest chunk.
Yeah. Yes. So first, let me clarify that this is the Kenkey we found on the streets.
Street Kenkey, of course.
I don't know about Kempinski.
This is retail Kenkey, not wholesale.
This is retail Kenkey.
Okay.
So retail Kenkey on the streets of Accra. We first saw it at 4 cedis in November 2022.
All right.
And at that time, was still just maybe 10% of it. And then around January, February, more and more started coming at 4 cedis. While you can see the 2 cedi Kenkey was leaving the market.
Oh, So this is 2 CD Kenkey.
2 CD Kenkey, the blue line, the blue charts.
Oh no, it's
blue
an
was leaving the
endangered
market.
species.
That's right.
So that we buried 2 CD Kenkey in October last year.
That's correct.
2 CD Kenkey is finished.
Totally, it's gone. We haven't seen any in the market. And the last place to have 2 CD Kenkey was in Teshi. And
so Teshi was the last man standing.
That was the last man standing. And so one thing we also found out in having conversations with Kenkey sellers is that some of them will tell you, of course, they can reduce the size of the Kenkey to make it easier, but then they choose to keep it at the low price. They chose, at least for a long time, to keep it at the low price of 2 CDs because to make sure that if you had only 2 CDs in your pocket, you could also eat.
So they persisted with the 2 CDs till they decided that they couldn't afford it anymore.
Yes.
So they ended 2 CDs live. And then 4 CDs started in November.
Yep. And
it steadily increased. So by April, something happened in April. Because April, 4 CD jumped from this to this.
Yeah.
Which there were more places selling 4 CD Kenkey. And then somebody decided that they were going to sell Kenkey for 5 CDs.
Yes.
And since people didn't revolt, they increased the 5 CD in the share of Kenkey. So by November, 34% of the Kenkey you sampled was 5 CDs. Yeah. So it means 5 CDs is a hard fact now.
Yes, 5 CDs it's definitely a hard fact. And here's the interesting thing about the April that you picked on. What happened in April? And going in, one thing that we thought about was, all right, going to the original point I made, that if inflation is 13%, you can't go from 1 city to 1 city 13% because people just don't have the money on them. Now, what one might expect will be that they'll shrink the prices, what is called shrinkflation, and shrink the prices to the point where it's socially acceptable to go to the next CD price without causing a revolt, as you mentioned. So, with all that inflation happening, and 4 CD came to the market, people grumbled a little bit, but then it became acceptable. And then a 5 CD2 entered, and then it became acceptable as well. So, the movement you see here is a combination of shrinkflation, and then at some point where it's socially acceptable, they go up to the next CD point.
What do you define as shrinkflation?
So shrinkflation is basically keeping the same price, but then shrinking the size.
Keeping the same
price, but shrinking the size.
Oh, so the size of the ball was also... Okay, so let's look at the size of the ball of Kenkey here and see what we are getting. So you call it the average weight...
Per Ghana cedi.
Per Ghana cedi of a ball of Kenkey.
That's right.
Interesting. So what is 162? What does it mean?
So what that means is that as of when we started in August 2022, a ball of Kenkey, every cedi would buy you 162 grams of Kenkey. It doesn't mean Kenkey was selling at 1 cedi. What that means is that for every cedi, this is what you're getting. So for instance, I think a can of milk is about 165 grams.
Oh, so 1 cedi will get you Kenkey the size of
the weight
of a can of milk
at that time.
So that's very small.
Yes.
So if I'm buying Kenkey for 2 cedis, then the Kenkey will be
double.
That will be 320.
That's
3
right.
CD. So wow.
This was in August 2022, right?
So two 2D ball of Kenkey would weigh double of that.
Yes, at that time on average. All right, and then over time, that weight kept dropping.
So the average weight of a ball of Kenkey has been reducing.
Yes.
In Accra.
Yes.
And the government hasn't said anything about it.
The average weight per cedi.
Still.
So of course, in other words, what it means is that the Kenkey that you now buy for 4 cedis, at some point was maybe 3 cedis or 2 cedis.
Yeah.
But then it's the same size because they started big and then they shrink.
Wow.
And you see that happening over time. So now the average weight for every cedi is about 113 grams. That's just above the weight of a can of tuna.
So they've basically reduced the weight per ball per cedi by at least 50 grams.
That's right.
Because 162 to 113.
That's correct.
So, viewers, our Kenkey is going down. They are reducing the size of, and they are not announcing it on the radio. The government is not saying anything. The economists are, this is terrible. So when you buy a ball of Kenkey, the size is reducing.
Yeah, I think people feel it in their pocket. So it's a combination. Size reduces a little bit, and then the price goes up. And sometimes when the price goes up, they make it quite bigger, so you feel like, oh, okay, I'm buying 4 cedi ball of Kenkey instead of 3 cedis, but it's bigger, right? But over time, it shrinks again, and it goes back to the old 3 cedis.
This is a serious trend. So from a size of a tin of milk per cedi to the size of a tin of tuna.
Yeah, just above a tin of
the
tuna.
weight.
Yeah, per Ghana city.
This is incredible. My camera guys are watching me. Is it true? Is Kenkey? Is it true? It's true.
And it's interesting. There's one place that kept Kenkey at 3 cedis for a long time, almost 2 years. It's only recently they went up to 4 cedis.
Wow.
And at the 4 cedis, it's a bit heavier, but we predict it's gonna. We're tracking it to see how much it shrinks back to the old 3 cedi weight.
Now this is serious. So I need to go back to this slide. So the first point is that the average selling price of a ball of Kenkey from August 2022 has steadily increased. Yeah. It's now over 4 cedis, around 4 cedis per ball.
That's right.
Meanwhile, the average weight of a ball of Kenkey is so. I mean, this is like double confusion. You are raising the price and you are reducing the size. Now, what does this chart mean? What's the meaning of this chart?
Okay. So what this chart means is that a lot of people, as we mentioned earlier, and you guys actually you mentioned on your radio show City CBS last week about what the price of Kenkey is.
Yes.
It's different in different places.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, at some point, Teshin had 2 cedis. Your neighborhood may not have had 2 cedis. So what this shows is that if we went on the market and just collecting balls, we go to a place and say, okay, what Kenkey do you have? What prices? Okay, we'll buy 3 cedis, 4 cedis, 5 cedis, whatever. This is how it plays out in terms of the places or the sample on offer, on sale, that is at 5 cedis, that is at 4 cedis, that's at 3 cedis. So as you can see, even visually, 4 cedi Kenkey is the most common Kenkey price now. So if you went to most places, you would find 4 cedi Kenkey.
So
you will not find 3 cedis or 5 cedis.
So this is 4 cedis?
Yeah, the orange.
So Abelenkpe, Adenta, Cantonment, Choko, Jowulu, East Legon, Bawe, Hacho, Jamestown, Kanda, Kaneshi, Kolegono, Kotobabi, Latebi Okoshi, Madina, Mamprobi, Nima, Nungwa, Osu. Osu is 2. Yeah. Osu 1, Osu 2.
Yeah, go to Osu Sports.
Rawlings Park, Ridge, Sakumono Spintex Testing, Osu 1 Wager. This is pretty serious. So the places, so you're saying that in, there are some of these places that you won't get 3 cedi Kenkey. So for example, if I don't see a blue dot, on the day you went, you didn't get 3 cedi Kenkey at Spintex.
That's right.
Ridge, no 3 cedi Kenkey.
That's right.
Rawlings Park, no 3 cedi Kenkey.
Exactly.
But Nima, you got. My beloved Madina, you got. Kanda, no 3 cedi Kenkey. East Legon, obviously, no 3 cedi Kenkey. Choco is surprising.
Yeah.
No 3 cedi Kenkey at Choco. How?
No, Choco has 3 cedis.
Choco has 3. Okay. Choco has 3. So it's Jowulu.
Jowulu didn't have. And Jowulu has been quite expensive most of the time.
Jowulu is very expensive.
Yeah. But it's interesting you mentioned. You said obviously when you mentioned East Legon.
Yeah.
But that in itself is an interesting point in that the way our neighborhoods are organized, our urban spaces are organized in a way that though the census data may show Jowulu as higher income or cantonments as higher income, there are people who work in Jowulu, who work in cantonments, who can't pay the prices that you would pay at...
because Kenkey will be bought not by those who just live there, but those who work there.
Exactly. So you have spaces of food sort of islands, and the price may not reflect what the rest of the buildings in the neighborhood may suggest.
The other point,
you find that happening a lot.
The other point is that this 5 cedi has not yet it's not everywhere. So it looks like the 5 cedi, I see 5 cedi at Spintex, 5 cedi at Ridge, 5 cedi at Rawlings Park, 5 cedi, this looks like Mamprobi, 5 cedi at Madina. So Madina has all. 5 cedi Kolegono, 5 cedi Kaneshi, and then the only other place I see 5 cedi is Bawe. That's pretty interesting. All right. Yes, you want to make a comment on this?
To your point, again, it's as we'll get to that slide later. But we found that some of the traditionally Ghana neighborhoods, that's where you will find most of the value of Kenkey at the lower prices probably because there's so much supply of it there. And if you try to sell 5 cedi Kenkey in Teshin, I don't know how easily we'll sell it.
This is the point of view. We're trying to use the price of an average ball of Kenkey to determine what's really going on. The size as well, because it seems as if whilst the price has been going up, this is the retail price, from a little above 2 cedis per ball, Kenkey is now firmly 4 cedis per ball in a period of 1 year, 3 months.
Sorry.
Now, by the way, don't forget that we did a show on the economy of Ghana in 8 charts. And remember, we said to you that August 2022 was when everything began to fall apart. If you remember, we had the composite index, and I think Jude will find it and put it up for you later on. The composite index of economic activity, from March 2022, it was positive until August 2022 when it became negative. So the first time in the past 2 years that this composite index of economic activity started recording negative growth was in August 2022. So something obviously happened in this month. And it remained that way all through to 2023. So August is a very good date for him to have chosen as well. And then we also see certain specific dates like March 2023, November 2023. So obviously a lot of things happen in the economy. They show in the micro as well. So I'll show you that chart. We will also find some time to speak to some Kenkey sellers. Hopefully they'll give us an idea from the back end as to why Kenkey prices are the way they are. But stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. We're on the point of view tonight, and tonight is a Kenkey show. We're looking at what the price of an average bowl of Kenkey in Greater Accra or Accra says about the economy of Ghana, your personal economy. My guest is Kobina Aidoo. He's an economist, communications guy with very interesting ideas. 2 things we've established. The average price of a bowl of Kenkey has increased from 2 cedis, 60 pesos, to around 4 cedis between August 2022 and end of last year, or just last month, right? The average weight of a ball of Kenkey has come down. The government must say something about it. The Minister of Finance must make a comment about why the size of ball of Kenkey has reduced on average. All right. Now, I was going to say something about the August, but I just wanted to ask, why Kenkey? Why Kenkey?
All right. Thanks, Bernard. Good question. So, if you go around Africa, every African country, you will find either a ball or blob of starch, which is a staple. If you go to South Africa, you will find your. If you go to Nigeria, you get your eba. You go to South Africa, you get your pap. East Africa, what's it called again?
The one they do with the ripe plantain.
Not that one. There's another one in Kenya. Anyway,
in Zimbabwe, I think it's saja.
So they're different types.
Yeah.
In Benin, they have a form of fufu, etc. Even if you come to Ghana, you have all these starch balls, fufu, banku. You have etso from my people, Infanti. Yes. You have akpele.
And then yokegari also.
Exactly. So we'll get to all those later on. Even in Kenkey, there is fancy Kenkey, there's Gan Kenkey, and among fancy Kenkey, there are different types. Depending on the leaves around it.
But I know I didn't use Fanti Kenkey.
Sorry?
Because Fanti Kenkey can be deceptive.
Exactly. So, that brings me to Gan Kenkey. There's something special about Gan Kenkey among all these that makes it special. In that, number one, it's a ball. Okay? And the covering, the husk that's used to cover it, is quite negligible in weight.
Yes.
And so, it makes it quite special as a way of, and everybody sees it as a frame of reference. You go to Parliament. I've seen MPs bring in balls of Kenkey to Parliament to talk about the economy, right? So it's something that we all think we can refer to, and it's easy to measure.
So it's a transparent measure.
It's transparent.
Everybody can relate.
Exactly, and that's what makes Kenkey, among all these starches, quite a special one. And you mentioned Yokogari, for instance. We've been thinking about how can we measure wache, Yokogari, etc. If you take wache, all right, it's rice and beans. So then you have to start worrying about the proportion of beans, the beans-rice proportion.
Yes, you can have a lot of rice and little beans.
Exactly. But that in itself is an interesting measure because it shows the state of the economy, whether beans or rice is more expensive, and which ones they therefore prioritize. So,
and then, of course, you're right, there will be too many dynamics in wache to use.
Exactly.
Yokogari as well, is it red or normal?
Exactly. And then how much palm oil is in there? Yes. How much gari is in there?
Yes.
What are the prices of those inputs?
So Kenkey does it, everything.
Kenkey does it. I'll give you an example, and I think also it's a bigger story about telling stories of our lives. When I first moved back to Ghana, I said I'm also a documentary filmmaker. Part of my goal was to think of how we tell our stories. It didn't occur to me that it was also going to be partly telling our story through data that we don't normally find in the big macro numbers. And I think there's a lot to be done there.
I just wanted to show you something to sort of endorse your use of August, which is completely unplanned. So when I saw your August 2022, I remembered that when I did an editorial, I think it was July. No, this editorial was in, I forget now, end of 2023. I think it was Aprilish, Mayish.
All right.
Look at this.
Yeah.
So this is Bank of Ghana data, real composite net economic growth, right? It's been positive from the beginning of 2022. March went up, started coming down. Then, boom, August, it went down, negative.
Wow.
And then look at this, 6.2, November. So you see your November, you see your August, and then you see your March. So, and this is completely unplanned. I don't know whether this says anything, because this is macroeconomics, and yours is a bit micro. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. Well, first of all, my birthday is in August, so I apologize for contributing to this. But I think our economy there's a lot of informality in our economy, right? And so sometimes some of the macro numbers, some people may wonder, what does it really mean for people's lives? What does it mean in our pocket? But clearly here, this shows that there are connections. And I think these are very important, sort of the macro numbers. They're very important for looking at what's happening in the big picture. And then, if I may, things like the Kenkey index or other work that other people are doing helps us to look at the corners of the economy and what things mean to people in their daily lives. And once you connect the two, it now reveals to us a more 3D picture of our economic lives.
You know what's funny? Your 4 CD ball of Kenkey started in November 2022. That's when somebody dared to sell Kenkey for 4 CDs.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? November is probably one of the worst periods for the economy. Around negative 6.2 index of economic activity. And then, of course, 5 CD was introduced in April. And as we see, that's just right after this draft, when this data was taken. So,
Also, you will recall in November what the currency was doing in November, right?
Terrible.
And so it was passing through, obviously, in many ways too.
But Kenkey is a local product. That's my point. So I get fascinated when people use the dollar, right? If I'm a Kenkey seller, the corn is from here. Why is the currency going to influence the price of a ball of Kenkey? I mean, I don't see how that works.
I don't have the direct answer to that, but then I can offer some thoughts. So an expert Kenkey seller who has been selling for about 20 years, what she said was that she was surprised prices were going up so much around that time because Kenkey is not just corn. For her, she worries more about the price of charcoal than the price of corn. And also, for her, the Kenkey is just a complementary good for fish, which is where she makes her money.
Oh, the money comes from the fish.
So it's almost like that's what McDonald's does. They bring you in for the burger, make money from the drink. And that's what she does. But to your point, and something I mentioned earlier was that because of the nature of Kenkey, the informality, they can't exactly track the inflation. What they do is shrink over a period, it appears, until it's socially acceptable to go to the next price. And of course, with the way the economy was going around that time, people realized, hey, what better time to squeeze it in than now and blame it on everything else?
You did something you called the average price of Kenkey per sachet water weight. I don't know why you did that. If you can just comment on that briefly before we look at the distribution of where you can buy the cheapest Kenkey and where you can buy the most expensive Kenkey. What is this?
So this one says that, of course, Kenkey has different prices and different weights all over the city. So then, how do we compare? How do we look at the price? How the price has increased over the last year? So what we did was take something that everybody can relate to, or most people.
So a sachet water.
A sachet water.
One sachet.
One sachet water. If you take that weight, imagine you are going to buy Kenkey that is that weight. How much did it cost before? How much does it cost now? And you will see that
a sachet water weighs how much?
About 500 grams.
500 grams?
Yeah, roughly.
Half a kilogram?
Yes.
And I think generally you can say for a man of my size,
Yeah.
500 grams of Kenkey should be satisfied. So that's like the average ball that somebody will eat and be satisfied.
Yes.
Sachet water size.
Yes.
And so you said that if you did that, the average ball that will satisfy a man is 3 cedis.
Yes.
All the way to almost 5 cedis.
Yes.
So now I need 5 cedi Kenkey to be satisfied.
Yeah. It actually went up all the way to 5. Now it's about 4.5.
So 4.9 in July.
Yeah.
Well, viewers, tell me what the size of Kenkey you eat. Sachet water weight is 0.5 kilogram. And he's basically saying that 0.5 kilogram of Kenkey size, the price will be roughly now, as of end of last year, 4.5.
Yes.
So go ahead.
No, so what ends up happening is that for most people, 4 cedi Kenkey is enough.
4 cedi Kenkey is enough.
Yeah. I mean, it may not be quite.
So 3 cedi will not be enough now.
Well, it depends. For me, it may be enough. For others, it may not be.
This is fascinating. This is really, really fascinating. Yeah. Before August last 2 years, had you done anything like this?
I hadn't done anything like this, and it's something I thought about every now and then. It's a passion project. It cost me money, so it wasn't exactly my top priority, but it's something I'm very fascinated by, and put my effort and time where my passion was.
And you have a team that you work with on this?
Yes. And if I may give them a shout out, Samuel Amwinu was my first research assistant, and now it's Michael Ammer, and Isaac Barnes is my transport officer.
And just to be clear, where do you... Okay, I think this slide will help us. No, this one. Where you go. I want to know, like, the... Good. This is... So this is the population of the places you get the Kenkey data from. So this is all over Accra?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. In terms of the westernmost, Wager Block Factory, so you don't add Tema?
No, we are not in Tema yet. People have been calling us to come to Tema.
So Sakumano on the east?
Yeah.
Nungwa Spintex, Block Factory, Wager Agbawe.
Yes.
And then Hacho Madina of Anko.
Yeah. And you'll see that just visually, you'll see as you mentioned earlier, the greener it is.
So what is this?
So the greener it is, the better the value you are getting, the heavier the Kenkey.
Oh, the heavier the Kenkey, the greener?
Yes.
The lighter the Kenkey?
Yes, exactly.
So which places have the heaviest Kenkey in Ghana?
So you will see that this is from August last year. So this is on the most updated chart, map. But you'll see, as many would expect, along the coast, Teshin, La, Osu, Choko, Mampurila, Tibiokoshi, had some of the best value for Kenkey. And
so the heaviest Kenkey is in Teshin,
yeah,
La, Osu,
yeah,
Choko.
yeah.
But I also see Mamprobi.
Yes, Mamprobi too.
Mamprobi is okay.
Yeah.
Latebi Okoshi is okay.
Yeah, at that time. Yeah.
So you know what's funny? Apart from Jamestown, these are all the coastal,
Gan areas.
the proper Gan areas.
That's right.
Have the heaviest Kenkey.
Exactly. And
wow.
We aim to delve deeper to see if it's just a supply issue or something else. Because I wonder how many Kenkey sellers are in Teshin. So if you try to outprice the market, nobody will come to you.
So Teshin, La, so this is traditional. For those of you who know this, apart from, and Jamestown probably need to explain why. But what's Ablikuma doing here?
I don't know. But something that has happened in December indicates what could be happening, maybe. In that, in December, for what we call the Kenkey League table, Wager was on top. But then it was a new spot in Wager.
Oh, you have a Kenkey League table?
Yeah. Which, okay, that's the last slide.
Okay. There was a new spot in Wager.
Yeah, which it may be that they were using it to sort of attract people. And so it all depends on what the other dynamics are. There are many variables which we don't cover in all these.
Wow.
It's not a proper regression or anything. And we also realized that there was a place that was selling 3 cedis for a long time. And it just moved up to 4 cedis.
All right.
And it's significantly heavier than what you would expect based on the 3 cedi price. But it's to lure people in.
Entry strategy.
Entry strategy.
So if you are in Accra and you want heavy Kenkey, go to Teshin, go to La, go to Osu or Choko. If you can't, Mamprobi is very close to Choko, by the way.
Yeah.
So this is Kolebu area.
Yes, that's right.
So Latebi Okoshi as well.
Also heavily Ghana.
In fact, so basically Latebi Okoshi, Mamprobi, Choko is the same sort of general area.
Yeah.
Kaneshi is interesting, and then Ablikuma. The most expensive Kenkey, that means the light colored ones.
Yes.
Spintex.
Yeah.
Jowulu.
Yeah.
Domi Ofanko Achimota. La Paz. Oh my God.
And Joel has been quite consistent. And
Joel is very expensive.
Yeah, constantly expensive. And here's another thing too you should keep in mind, just visually, and want to delve deeper. You see there's a certain corridor with the high prices.
Yes. So
and
actually,
this along the Sawam Road, sort of, roughly, within the certain radius.
So if you are going from Circle towards Sawam.
Exactly.
So Circle, where is this? Tesano?
Yeah, that whole sort of, there's a corridor there.
La Paz,
That's
Achimota, Ofanko, Domi.
Yes. And we want to delve deeper to see what is happening there. Is it because they are immigrants from other parts of the country?
I'll tell you something that will shock you.
Yeah.
When I do my election analysis,
yeah.
All right, MPP. In terms of voting, so you have Ofanko is Trobu. MPP wins there. Domi Kwabena MPP wins there. Achimota, apart from the last election, this is like Okankwe North, MPP will win. La Paz, MPP typically wins. Jolus, I also West Wogon. This is mostly coastal NDC.
I can assure you the green was not deliberate.
No, I'm just,
deliberate.
Of course, if you look at the voting pattern, there's obviously a relationship between migration and voting.
Yeah.
So when we do the analysis, we notice that Amasaman has even gone MPP now. Pokwase, Amasaman, MPP.
Yeah.
That whole Insawam Road corridor, the migration to Accra from the Akan areas helps MPP there.
Yeah.
If you go to Ashaiman areas, the NDC does much better. What I don't understand is Medina Hacho, because they seem to be middle ground.
Yeah.
They sort of switch. So I don't know. That MPP Kinky theory, I don't know.
Well, next time the color coding will be blue, white, red, black, and green.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
So again, this is something that we really want to delve deeper into, and with some other researchers that you know quite well who have offered to help to expand this to really see what is happening. And of course, it will require bigger sample size, which is more money. So we'll see.
I'll tell you something. I ask these guys. When we were at Adabraka fully, food was much cheaper in Adabraka. When we moved to Tesano, you can ask these guys. Food is very expensive in Tesano. And I don't know if Adabraka is in your thing, but we agree that Tesano is expensive. Guys, am I lying? Tesano, I mean, you could have Adabraka. I could have 5 CDs, 10 CDs. There was what do you call it? Bambara beans seller. Adabraka, you can eat with even 5 CDs, 10 CDs, 15 CDs, 10 CDs, 15 CDs. Tesano, 25, 30.
Wow.
Tesano is not easy, cry. So this Tesano thing is very, very true.
I hope you guys are getting the premium.
No, it's true. We'll see. So you say you have a Kenkey league table. I didn't know that.
Yeah, go for it. It's the last slide.
By the way, if you are watching this, let us know. Send us a comment, right? Yeah. Tell us but where's the best Kenkey? The funny thing, also I have a friend in the US who, when it comes to Ghana, my mate from Presec, when it comes to Ghana, the first thing he wants to do is to go to Osu to buy Kenkey and fish. So Osu is...
I think I know. Where do you know
he
where? He
goes to the night market, some particular part in Osu, I forget.
Okay.
But he always goes there to buy Kenkey to eat.
All right.
He even misses that Kenkey.
Okay.
What's the difference in Osu 1 and Osu 2?
Different locations in Osu.
Within Osu? Okay, cool. You said you had Kenkey league table.
Yes.
What is that?
Okay.
Kenkey league table.
So before I come back to that real quick, to your point about your friend, I think people have places where they like to buy Kenkey from.
Okay.
So Friday actually happens to be one of the biggest Kenkey buying days, we understand.
Oh, Friday?
Because people buy it, and if they go to work and they like the Kenkey at their area, the job area, they buy it and take it home for the weekend. So they come back on Monday. So Friday
is a good Kenkey selling day?
Yes.
What's the worst Kenkey selling day?
I'm not sure about that, but I just know Friday is the best.
Wow.
From what there
are something else you should do. So what kind of fish goes with the Kenkey, right? So it would be nice for you to tell me, if I go to Teshi, how would their Kenkey taste different? Yeah. Will they have, and then would their fish be different? What kind of pepper? What kind of pepper they will use?
Because there are places where I buy Friday and goes with the pepper that goes with it.
Okay. So there's a lot of work for you to do.
So this goes into complementary goods, right?
Yeah. So, Kenkey, and you said the profit is in the fish.
Yes.
Kenkey league table. What's the meaning of the Kenkey league
table? So this is just basically it's something we do with every collection every month, where we found the highest price or the best value and then the worst value. So you will see that on this trip, as I mentioned, there's a new place in Wager which happened to have the best weight for the 4 CD Kenkey.
Oh, that's 612
the
grams. Top is the best value.
Yeah, for Kenkey.
So what does this number mean?
So if you're going to buy 4 CD Kenkey, on average, you'll get 612 grams
Oh,
at that
okay.
place.
So for 4 cedi Kenkey,
Yeah, you get
the heaviest Kenkey is in Weja.
Yes, for December.
Followed by Teshi.
Yeah.
Okoboy, Teshi.
Yes.
And then Koligono. Nungwa, Mamprobi. So the gap places, cantonment is pretty interesting.
Exactly, and that goes back to the point I was making earlier about how we have food islands, even in some of the most expensive
Because
neighborhoods.
I don't know what cantonment is doing here.
Yeah.
I see Teshi, Koligono, Nungwa, Choco. I understand that Okoshi and La. But cantonment seems like a very interesting place to have cheap Kenkey.
It is. It is
and
very
then
interesting.
Western, you could have, I don't know what they call Western, North, South, Bawe, 4 cedi, Medina, 4 cedi, Rawlings Park, Jamestown. Jamestown shocks me. Why is Jamestown
Again, this is a snapshot.
not doing well?
So this was just for December. So over
No,
time,
because even here, Jamestown is middle. It's not.
that's true. I didn't make that
Jamestown
connection.
is not cheap.
That's a good point.
Because I am this guy, Ni Lante Bannerman, he said to me that his sister sells Kenkey, and they are in Jamestown.
Yeah.
And
wow.
his Kenkey is really good. There was a day he brought me some Kenkey, which tasted really, really nice.
Maybe there's demand for it, so they can afford to charge higher.
Yeah, and it was in a Kenkey in a pack.
Okay.
Very nice Kenkey.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah, so the Kenkey, they did it, and they actually package it, and they label it.
Okay. One of the bougie Kenkeys.
Yeah, but it tastes very, very nice.
Okay, good to know.
So he's in Jamestown, so I don't know. Go back to the Kenkey League table. So the most expensive, Kenkey League table, guys.
Last slide.
Concentrate on the work. You maybe need some Kenkey to eat.
I know, right?
Nima is a predominantly northern migratory place. There's nothing there for me.
And there's actually this one place in Osu where the Kenkey is
So
surprisingly
this is
expensive.
the most expensive
Yeah.
small Abelenkwe
Yeah.
Jolu Osu.
Yeah, Jolu has been consistently quite bad. And I blame it.
Jolu has a lot of migrants.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm told a lot of Nigerians live in Jolu. I don't know whether they don't like Kenkey, so
Who knows?
Kenkey sellers have to make the Kenkey expensive.
Yeah. Maybe there aren't enough sellers. So those who are selling, either people don't have a frame of reference if there aren't many sellers.
Yeah, so they can price it anyhow.
They can price it anyhow.
And
look at the difference. I mean, one day. So in one place, 4 cedi Kenkey
this
was
is just one
twice.
day?
Yes. Well, not one day. We collect within 1 week. 1 week.
So the
difference
size of the Kenkey in Abelenkwe is like half of that of Weija.
That's right.
That's just crazy.
Within 1 week. So it's information asymmetry.
Yeah.
Question is whether you want to take Trotro all the way from Abelenkwe to Weija to buy Kenkey. Of course, you can do that.
But from this, we can say that on average, the closer you are to the sea,
yes,
the cheaper your Kenkey and
looks
the
like
heavier your Kenkey.
It appears so, yes.
So the further you move away from the coast, so if you want to eat good Kenkey, go to the coast.
It appears so, yes.
I'm going to ask one of my producers to go to speak to some Kenkey people, and I'll air that after this break, just to give you a sense of what the Kenkey sellers are saying. And then when we finish with that, we'll wrap up on what else Kobina Aidoo and his team will do. And also, when will Kenkey reach 6 cedis? I'm going to ask him to predict. Because in December of 2022, 4 cedi Kenkey emerged. And then by May, 5 cedi Kenkey emerged. When will Kenkey reach 6 cedis?
Okay.
Or 10 cedis? We'll try and do that prediction
right.
when we come back. Stay with us.
The loved Ghanaian dish made from milled corn and wrapped in corn husks, often served with red hot pepper and fish, has been enjoyed by many across the country. Renowned for its affordability, it has been considered one of the cheapest food options for years. Historically, sellers say a single bowl of Kenkey was priced between 1 cedi 50 pesos to 2 Ghana cedis from 2016 to 2020, making it accessible to a broad range of consumers. However, recent times have witnessed a significant surge in prices, with Kenkey now being sold at 4 to 5 Ghana cedis and occasionally at 3 cedis if one is fortunate. In Jamestown, I spoke with some Kenkey sellers to delve into the reasons behind this notable increase in prices.
Now this Kenkey business.
In sister which one she was your money. Each one, she Jimmy Biani, no Biani one take care, one walk on of Biani.
I mean, Tomale, come here, managing a price range from mini to mini.
This year, no January, I mean, I don't want 3 cedi. She be an 84 cedi.
January, no 84 cedi.
4 cedi.
Okay. What you feel 4? Get 10 on 5.
What feel 4 cedi song?
4 cedi song.
4 cedi song. What feel 3 don.
Mini one.
Oh, be an if it money, no fear no 18 Call ya here believe in chair 18 Be an abile 800. Kenya. I'm putting chair 1.4, 1.5. When you were don't for Leona cano, fish cano fiano, a jalewa. No, be an honey won, Nibia. If it no price is selling, it shoot up 18
There will be factor I cannot fair no look at who on come here a woman. Okay, 1 CDF time.
Oh, Jagging get 1 CDF tire search. She near the Chicago corner at market, but no, you know, I any cottage every day. 3 cedi more home on it almost 2 years, 3 years. I believe when I believe not time 1.5. I believe share 2 million. She be on 700. Money tell you put in check about phone. She put in check almost 10 cedi, 15 cedis. Because the roadside they can buy inside. If say 3 cedi here. First say 3 cedi. Lolly fair put in check. First say 1.5. 15 cedis. She be an 60 Ghana. 15 Ghana.
Yeah, na hey. I believe it to me. Ochi fonchi agma believe. Ochi fonchi. Beno senish kana sana ke jatwa ba ba ke pakwa ba lodu pa. Anye pakwa ba lodu ahun beno ba na ka twa ba ke ba ke shin I believe jala neke.
Beni mi me bon komi ho abe ahun le 2 cedi. Abele ko to komi 2 cedi. No ko to ku enyo.
Okay.
4 cedis. Ko to ku bibi enyo 4 cedis. She bi ane afi lo afi enyo mi ne. Abele 1000.
No here na kene ko wo na fi wo ko.
Na do 3 cedis.
3 cedis.
Na dale 3.
When I first one na le 1 cedi 50 pesos.
3 cedis.
Consumers and food vendors are grappling with the repercussions of these soaring prices, expressing their concerns and advocating for a substantial reduction.
Do you think the prices are outrageous or they are okay?
Yeah, I think the prices should be reduced a bit. Because, Kenkey is Kenkey. Like, that helps us survive and all that. So, if they take the prices high and all that, it's going to affect. We can't afford it. Things are, yeah. Corn staff or what is it, maize staff should be reduced a bit.
For an ardent Kenkey enthusiast like Stephen, the surge in prices means he now spends nearly 20 Ghana cedis each time he decides to buy Kenkey for lunch or dinner.
The price is high, quite high, because you see the system is quite different now. So at least if you have a 10 cedis or 15 cedis, you can eat a Kenkey.
10 cedis, 15 cedis.
10 cedis, 15 cedis, because the prices of Kenkey is 3 cedis, 4 cedis. So me like this, I can consume 2, like 6 cedis, and buy fish.
But you not get that 4 cedis?
Yes, I don't get it, maybe 10 cedis or something. Yeah, so it should be 16 cedis.
So ordinarily, if you want to eat Kenkey here in Accra, I don't know about elsewhere, but in Accra, you have to get close to 20 cedis.
Yeah, that's a fact, because it depends the fish you bought. But if there's smaller fish there, you get the 5 cedi fish or 10 cedi fish. You understand? So that's the whole issue. They are talking about the consumption of the fuel. The prices of the fuel is high. If they brought it from the villages to Accra, the fish consume fuel. The maize all we are chopping now is consuming fuel from various places. So they come to the price of the fuel and they have to the Kenkey on the fish and sell it to us.
Akusia Ochre, Jamestown, Accra.
The point of view tonight is looking at what Kenkey tells us about our economy. Don't forget that within this week as well, the GPRT has been proposing increases in transport fares. In fact, they said we're going to increase transport fares by 60%. The Ministry of Transport has not agreed yet. But in terms of post-personal economies, prices have gone up. Don't forget that government has imposed VAT on power, and this is up to about 21% VAT on power above 30 kilowatt hour. So people's economies are feeling squeezed. By the way, inflation, even though inflation figure is 23.2, food inflation is about 50%. Okay, there's also a high level of imported inflation as well. So there's a lot of things going on. This is really great work. I just want to ask you, based on this chart, people predicted that the city was going to hit 16 in the midst of the crisis. And if you look at the chart I did, it went above 12 and then came down. And it's now around 12.5. And people are talking about how the city can reach 15 before election. We don't want that to happen. Are you able to, based on the trend you've seen, tell me what's going to happen next? Because we're in January, right? So in the next 5 months, what's going to happen? What do you think?
Yes. If I could tell you that I'll make a lot of money to buy a Kenkey. But I think the way I see it and how the trends have played out so far, we may stay here. The prices may stay at this point for a while. What we may see is more shrinkflation. But so far, since May, prices have been quite stable. And I don't see any reason why that's going to change anytime soon, unless there's a major difference in one of the inputs, whether it's charcoal or corn or whatever it is. But I think for the next year, we'll probably be staying close to these numbers.
You know what's interesting? Sachet water prices are announced nationally. So you can't set your own sachet water price. There's average sachet water price.
Yeah.
Kenkey is not like that.
Yeah. First of all, I find sachet water price setting, it appears monopolistic, and I find it strange that it actually passes. But Kenkey, even if they wanted to, will be more difficult because they don't wait, which is also one very, very fascinating thing. Actually, perhaps what I found most fascinating doing this work is the fact that they don't weigh the Kenkey.
They don't weigh the Kenkey.
So this is all, they're sort of eyeballing it, if you like, all along the margins.
And let me ask you,
it's so smooth.
If a Kenkey seller brings a basin of Kenkey,
yeah.
Are the weights the same, within the same basin?
No, they're not. That's another area too we're going to be going deeper into to see what the standard deviation is. If to use
but she's able to know the 3 CD one from the 4 CD one?
Yes. And sometimes they'll tell you, oh, when I buy 3 CDs, that one is at the bottom, so only the 4 CDs are at the top.
So they put the 3 CD at the bottom?
Sometimes. So they have their own ways of doing this. But I think it is quite fascinating that considering they're just eyeballing it, the changes are so smooth over time because it's so infinitesimal for every day. And these old ladies are just tweaking it. But sometimes look at it over a period and it's dropped by a very smooth curve.
And also the issue of sachet water. Are you going to delve into sachet water pricing at some point?
Not yet. But what interests me actually, what I call water doomsaw. As you know, I did the doomsaw report a few years ago to also see consumer perspectives on power outage. But we've become so used to not having water in some of our neighborhoods. And you ask yourself at any given moment, how many Ghanaians can open a tap water and have the water flow through it, right? And it's January. Most people are buying water from tankers. But I think we're not telling that story well enough for us to understand where we are. And speaking more broadly about stories, it's not just sort of trying to find negative stories or anything like that.
By the way, do you have a Kenkey market in Accra?
I've been to the Kenkey market. There are Kenkey houses, and then there are Usunai market. You get a lot of Kenkey, but I don't know of any Kenkey market.
So I think there are a few headlines here. The issue is that Kenkey prices are going up, Kenkey sizes are going down, and 2 CD Kenkey is history. It's not. It's finished. 2 CD Kenkey is finished. You won't get again. And 5 CD Kenkey is on the increase. We hope it reduces and dies, so it remains at 4. Hope you've enjoyed the show. I've been talking to Kobina Aidoo, who's an economist and a communications specialist, just trying to see how Kenkey prices reflect our economic reality to move away from all the hard macro numbers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.